everybody. Alright, those who are interested, I thought I'd try and just talk to the camera as a suggestion. I thought it was a wonderful suggestion. Let's see, there's a lot of free space up there. Don't know if I want to show much more, but there we go. Okay, my name is Cameron Max Hewitt. I think I've been through a lot, but everyone has, so it is what it is. But anyway, with what I went through, I came to some conclusions, which are kind of interesting, and rather than just forming conclusions, I'm like, well, even if I offered many potential conclusions and found a solution that would fit all of them, then that would be a solution. So yeah, I think I have solutions. That's the goal. That's the intent. Okay, so pretty much everyone's not, well, not everyone, but most people are not super happy with the government. There are some problems, there's some turmoil, and the future has, negative possibilities. Anyway, when I look at it, and I went for more, making it objective, I found that some of the there's legal fictions. I found those. Now, legal fictions, that to me says fraud. It's like, how do you put a fiction into law? Unless it's like, I don't know, why wouldn't you just put the truth? Like, what are you trying to hide there? It's like trying to say something without saying something. Anyway. So the biggest one that I'm finding is that there's this idea that they have the right to rule over us, or over others. Me. I feel like they're trying to rule me. I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyway, this is where I've come to the conclusion of the sovereignty of all individuals. So I looked into it pretty far, and democracy is apparently that, but it isn't working like that, and I suppose, most of the countries I see are like formative democracies at best. Anyway, so the International Sovereign Alliance was supposed to inspire a way forward, because I don't know if everyone actually wants this. If they want it, then they can have it, right? Why not be inspiring to other peoples who may see us one day? But if it has to be that I've got to do it to inspire those around me, then I'll do that too. So the Inspire, okay, by the International Sovereign Alliance. I'm Cameron Max Hewitt, and this is what I offer. Now, there's some fundamental principles that need to be acknowledged. So yeah, each sentient being, right, has the right to its own choices, so long as they do no harm. Now that right to their choices, alright, that's called sovereignty. Okay, now, so you have sovereignty if you're not doing harm, but ruling others is harmful because you steal their sovereignty. So sovereignty is a fine line. It's actually really interesting. You have to know your borders. Alright, it's anyway, set boundaries in a sense. But it's not just about knowing yours and when you're getting intruded upon. It's actually knowing where yours end, so that you don't intrude upon others. And this is one of the biggest problems that we found, or that I've found, and I suppose other people have found, so we should suit. Okay. So the acknowledgement of real nations. So sovereignty first, okay. So if we can acknowledge individual sovereignty, then we can acknowledge national sovereignty, and we can actually find everything else that sovereignty is about, and there is a lot, I must say. Self-governance is pretty much what it means, and self-governance says a lot. So, and it's the right, meaning to govern oneself, right. And I do try, and feel free to, let me know. right? Yeah. I do try to be aware and to listen. It's hard. It's always hard, especially when you've got something to share. Okay. Now, okay, the symbiotic thing with nature, this is really important. Like, what are we to nature? So, and religion. I'll start there. So, a lot of people talk about God, and it's like, that's the truth. The thing is, you don't need the word God, you can just say the truth, okay? And then the more that people actually know what you're talking about, they can think it's fucking anything, right? Name it what you will. Alright, but if God is the truth, then everyone, and to be frank, like, any conscious being should be striving for the truth, surely. Now, we all are here, though, in nature, okay? And that needs to be acknowledged, alright? That to me is the father and the mother. And if we fight the mother the way that we have been, alright, it's not gonna go well. We're gonna get pushed out. That's a potential. Alright, but I think, just we're not ready for that. Okay? So symbiosis with nature. This is something that all cultures did to a degree. They actually got to know the land and they sought the truth and so on and so forth. It's so very important, and the way that it's been happening on Earth, is natural to a degree, but we learn from it, and there's been there's been the mass destruction of so many people's knowledge, the land, the space. We've hurt ourselves a great deal. We've allowed a lot of harm. Some have done a lot of harm. Which is why we're struggling for sovereignty. Everyone's clashing instead. So if sovereignty is the right, okay, for how to govern, then the wrong would be if you're at war with everything, right? Everything and everyone. Now, I'm not at war with you, right? I come as a friend. I hope that I'm respecting your boundaries and sharing this to you. So the Inspire is about that. It's like, rather than controlling other people, I don't want the government to be like, ooh, cool, revolution, switch, control. It's not like that. It's like, seriously, if we're going forward, it needs to be inspirational, otherwise no one's going to follow it. Or you'll have to turn around and grab them. I don't want to do that. So, while I set this thing up, I hope that people attract to me. The goal here is to inspire, is to attract rather than grab. And there's many other inspiring individuals, and to be honest, that's what inspired me to make this for them, so to speak. Okay, it's an international sovereign alliance, okay? And there's a lot to fix. If we can get sovereignty acknowledged in law, then individuals who can hold the law can go in and sort it out. So, anyway, for me, when I come in, I'm speaking about natural law. This is the consequences of morality. Okay, we're on, as I said before, one side we've got sovereignty, and on the other side we've got what I described as war. Other people call it slavery. Okay, but it's the imposition onto each other. All right, it's instead of coming together like this and being okay, maybe a gentle touch. All right, or sometimes it's welcomed. Remember, right? But instead, it's the fucking, it's a bit. It's what we, it's a domestic. It's, but yeah, it's humanity needs to grow. To me, it's the systemic abuse. So how can we be, less abusive when our system, or how, what's best for the kids, for the way down the road? Like, how can you expect humanity to be? Anyway, look, we make this system, so at the end of the day, before even trying to control the system, one has to try and not be as abusive. And I'm trying. All right, look, let me know. Again, pull me in line. Like, the thing with sovereignty is that I am responsible and accountable, but I'm also, like, let's be honest, right, natural. And I can be as honest as I try, but I make mistakes. So, yeah, okay, that's, I believe, how we do this. So, okay. Now, if we have that recognized in law, then we can go in and start doing things. So sorting out the legal fictions first, perhaps getting that change, inspiring it into a new direction, people taking a stand for themselves to say, I willfully participate in this world, but I do it on my own. Okay. So if they want to meet and greet and interact, okay, without it being war or them trying to push slavery, right, then what needs to happen is I need to be respected for my part in this. Now, when we talk about a commonwealth, okay, and trust, okay, so since I'll be clear right now if anyone's listening, I don't feel like I'm benefiting enough, okay, enough from the trust that has been expected, suggested. Okay, I personally, I'm really not trusting it. Like, what is my share? How much, you know, if the world were divided by population and the wealth was divided by population, then how much does everyone get? If we were respecting each other as beings properly. So, I don't know, there seems to be this wealth imbalance. I've heard that it's very uneven. Now, that's cool, we got here, okay? I get that, like, to do no harm, you have to know what harm is, you have to make mistakes. So, that means that, you know, I can forgive. We got here. Globalism happened, right? Someone decided, you know, I'll fucking make this thing happen, that's cool, but I'm here now. Hope that people are listening saying, cool, we've met, back off, I want what's mine. And to be honest, the last few generations, I believe, have had what's theirs taken. I've heard of convicts being sent away after having their lands taken and going through famine, etc. Like, the imposition, again, I think that's the right word. Let's see if the language changes in time. Pat my cat, sorry. My cat, I don't know. My friend. My cat friend. Her name is Smudge. What was I thinking? Okay. So Terra Nullius, that's a whole thing. Okay, the land was, you know, they say it means unoccupied or something like that. And I don't see how that's plausible even slightest. And then they're talking about, oh no, like, don't even get me started. The yarn just gets silly, okay? So they came to a beach. They said, you know, it's a break, there's a fucking line, all right, on a boat. They get there, they get off the boat, they're now on land. Who owns it? Now, apparently they see some people. And then after a while they go and say that it's vacant land. Now, this is insane to me. And I don't see how that works at all. Alright, or there was unoccupied or something like that. It's just... Anyway, so... yeah, Terra Nullius, legal fiction. And then someone challenged it. I hear it was, you know, top material. And they still, it turns, well, what I've read is that it's another legal fiction. And it hasn't quite sorted it out. So I would, and this is where I'm like, the world probably needs money more than I do. So I don't want to take, all right? If you want to gift, you want to give, you want to support, you want to encourage, all right? I don't know, what's the word for you? All right, then I accept the help. But what I would like, all right, and I'm speaking of funding at this point, to be honest, what I would like is to be able to devote my time very specifically. I've got a lot I want to do, okay? Now this means more training, more learning, okay? So I do want to be studying. I do need to be relatively comfortable to do well in this. And I've got things I'm producing too, so I still have my own business. But I've got many things I wish to contribute, and I've got a way that I'm shaping myself. And I have expressed that and may express it now. Fuck, why not? We're here. So, I'm thinking that in the future, studying law through the universities. I'd like to go for diplomacy now. I believe that there's going to be some type of diplomatic learning opportunity. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I do believe that I could do this through the military now. If that's possible, I would learn so fucking much. That would really combine it. The next one is politics, getting up into the creation of laws. Okay, so we've got the three parts to sovereignty, right? And I'm choosing diplomacy in terms of force. You've got to, like, come on. Okay, for the enforcement of the way the current sovereignty works, then there's better ways, okay? Anyway, yeah, what's gonna work? Okay, teamwork. So, anyway, they're the study options. Then I've got this website put forward. It's like, at the moment, I feel like it's doing well, okay? But there's way more. There is so much more. And I've got music. I've got to share this. It's fucking huge, right? Like the discussion of sovereignty, why it's important, etc. For you, all right? For you all, the fucking grandkids, etc. If they know what sovereignty is, if they know what their rights and wrongs are, meaning the right choices, okay, self-governance, right, sovereignty, self-governance. So the right governing of oneself is moral. The wrong governing of myself, like swinging around, may be wrong. Okay, so right and wrong, very fucking basic, you'd think. So why were we taught away from it? Well, if you've got power and you learn this is what I've heard, and it's cheeky and it makes sense. If you've got power and you got that power because you're more civil than other people, then what's really the point of trying to make them all, I don't know, maybe they are, maybe that's why I learned this, you see? So, to be more civil, okay, civil sovereign, that's not bad. I'll close it there.